Yes. Back again. Motown Philly back again. Coffee break with JN back again. With a little East Coast swang. Little East Coast phlegm. Coffee break with JN. The boys have been going off. You know what I'm going to say next, guys. Not too hard. Not too soft. Well, hello. Guys, well, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning, Vietnam. Welcome back. Coffee break with JN. All are welcome. All are welcome. Guys, we did it, y'all. We did it. We came back. Somebody said it already, like, JN, ain't you sick? JRD says, you suck too? Wow, that's strong. JRD, I'll take it. It's a convalescence hour. Am I sick? Yo, my man from the squatter from Mucinex is living up in the chest, as the scrolls foretold. Yes, yeah, man. But we're gonna make it work. Um, and we're gonna say hello to some people first when we clear the screen. And I'm still in my heel turn. Good night. So we got the Wolfpack Black and Red coffee break branding going on. I call Shogun says, also, aren't you sick? Shouldn't you be getting that dude from the Mucinex commercial evicted, arrested up or something? Not trying to get rid of you, just being annoying about y'all. Thank you, Shogun. I appreciate that. um, that's a Freudian slip, JRD. That's what that was. Um, yeah, I figured we could talk about that tonight. So we got a whole lot of superstars up in here. So let me clear the screen. We'll address all of your burning concerns. Let's start with a roll call. I see a whole lot of superstars up in here. I gotta scroll up. You see Michael. Hello, Michael. Listening from work. You can't see me because you're listening. I'm saying hello to you. Well, hello. Good to see you. I'm seeing you a lot in the JNN Jamar Nicholas Network streams. Seeing you on the streams. Good to see you, my man. I like when people get active. I've been hearing from people, and they're like, "Oh, yo, I've been rocking with you for a minute. I just be on the low low. I don't be saying nothing. I be lurking. Like, don't lurk. You know how important this community is. You know how we makes it happen. So yeah, put your face in the place. Pause. I see Matt of the mighty Waringo Dynasty. Well, hello. I call Shogun. Claps times 5. I see Paul Pate. Well, hello, Paul Pate. I'm having some. Well, I'm here early. Paul Pate says, first time I've been on time in years. I'm gonna call you late past Paul Pate. What up, late past Paul Pate? But you get a late pass because you're excused. This is funny. I haven't sounded this congested all day, so this is kind of what makes me think that it's allergies. I'll give you a timeline of me being sick soon, but and I'll come off the jump and say no, I don't have COVID. By COVID. Yo, see Ronaldo, stick of the planet, hose taste. Salute the general. Hello, how are you? Paul Pace said Flim in the house. Yeah, man, it sucks. Sean Chai, howdy, howdy. Sean Chai, have we given you your caffeine button yet? You've been here on time for a long time now. Matt says need to switch to hot tea tonight. It's kind of late for that, but we'll make it happen. Shogun says Dakota's putting together Legos and says, you sound awful. That's like one of my favorite games, Parappa the Rapper. And when Parappa, I was like, I was this is before the internet, right? So I was heavy on my magazines. I had Electronic Gaming Monthly. Shout out to my man Norm Scott, who did Shu and Chan, the comic strip in the back of EGM. He was a good friend of mine. Um, I used to read my EGM. I used to read my PSM magazine, PlayStation magazine. Shout out to our dearly departed Michael Ringo, because they were given like superstar comic book artists cover commissions. And I know that Ringo did a couple of PSM covers. And then I think they realized that getting comic book superstars to illustrate the cover of your magazine was expensive, and they just switched to like CG or whatever. I know there was an Art Adams cover. I know Ringo did two of them, maybe two or three. They even had what's the cat? Joe Maduria did a cool Resident Evil cover. Now I'm gonna get to I'm gonna get to this sick thing because I don't sound as bad all the time. If they're lurking, aren't they peeping Johns? I like that. Let's use that. Good evening, Roger Ash. Uh, Bill, what up, Bill? Good to see you. PSM, that's a callback. I love PSM magazine. Um, and yeah, so Bill asked, so let me just get to it because I'm all over the place. Awesome Con post Concord, yes. So was it a week ago, right? No, it's almost 2 weeks. It's really close to 2 weeks. Was in DC for Awesome Con. Had a great time. Awesome Con Junior held it down for all ages comic creators. I travel with a posse. I roll deep. Myself, my boy John Gallagher. Shout out to Max Meow, Cat Crusader. Also, the Leaping Mariano brothers held it down. And also a lot of fine feathered friends who were along. Um, this is, am I gonna have to shut this off? But I love the concern from the Baroness. You tell Nakota thank you so much for her concern. Um, so just to get this out the way, as I don't think people always talk about comic book conventions and how fun, dot dot dot. But on our side, and I don't know when you're a teenager and you're crammed six deep in a hotel room and nobody's taking showers, and that's a whole other thing. I'm not talking about that. What up, Jeff? El Jefe is here. I'm here. Let's just start over. I'll press the hard reset button. I'll pull out the paper clip and press that little button, pause, and turn it all back on. So yeah, the weather up to then, like the last couple of weeks in the East Coast has been really crappy. It's been rainy and cold. That's not a good look. It's rainy and cold, and then the trees are starting to bud, and the flowers are coming up, and there's pollen, and it's kind of like a fast pass to get sick. And I'm like, bro, I can't get sick. I take my concoctions, you know, pretty much through the whole year. I don't get sick. So I know usually in the spring around this time, like it's usually after my birthday, I always get sick. So to what Bill just said, uh, Adriana and I thought we had it too, but the pollen in DC was off the charts. Yeah, I came outside in the Saturday morning. My car is not yellow; it was yellow, and right there I was just like, oh. And they're like, my nose started doing the Samantha from Bewitched, and I was just like, yeah, this isn't good. So shout out to AwesomeCon. It was great. Everybody's very friendly. The staff was accommodating. They did what they had to do. It's not the Walter E. Washington Convention Center is a gorgeous building. It's not easy to get around in. There's it's kind of like the pit from GI Joe. There's a lot of going down and down and down, and then like the sub. I guess the sub floor is where the convention's held. So you got to park somewhere east of Blip, and then lug your gear. And part of this is my fault because I didn't get there early enough to do a load in. But I'm bringing my stuff. Pause. I'm bringing my stuff. It's raining. I'm already like, ugh. And then when you get into the joint, you got to go to an elevator. There's a secret exhibitors door. You go in, you go to an elevator, and the the elevator doesn't go to the bottom. You get off, and then you got to walk and then get on another one and go. You know what I'm saying? So you're kind of spent by the time you get to the show floor. And loadout was a beast. So you're adding the stress of not really sleeping well. I'm too old to be doing what do you call bar con and doing the bar crawl. You see people for a second and try to make it an early night. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Next thing you know, you're going home and it's raining again, and I'm lugging my shit up the. This is how I lost. Remember, some of you guys who were on Pencil to Pencil Soul that I lost one of my Leon cutouts. I lost Clementine. So if you're in the DMV area and you see a a gator board cutout of Clementine Justice, give her a good home. So I finally get all my stuff together and I'm kind of wrecked. So I was okay all week, but I kind of had it was like the allergies. And that's kind of where I've been. Like I think I actually probably had a cold. That concrete is real. But the allergies are stacking on top of this, and I'm just trying to get through it. Sorry that took forever. Jared D says Dakota's going to start lysoling the screen after every cough. That was like when COVID started and people were running around lysoling people. That's right. Stay out of the cough judgment zone. Ronaldo says, for real, it's supposed to be spring, but someone forgot to tell the weather. Jared D's talking about horny trees in Virginia. Yeah, it was real. Yeah, so I mean, and I'm again like it's a very modern building, all that's cool, but they need an express elevator in there somewhere. Just like, yo, why am I doing this? Bill said on average we did 3 miles of walking each day to and from. Yeah, like I think on Friday when I had to do the load in and I missed the window to do the early loading because I drove from Philly to DC. And I have a penchant for always doing that because like, you know, you got to figure out when you can get there. You don't want to get stuck in traffic. You don't always have the space or the calendar space to show up the night before or 2 days before. Like sometimes it's like, when's it open? All right. And I have a couple of those stories from Baltimore where there's like the back load-in dock closes at noon on like the first day, and I got to the John like I just came right off 95, and it was like 12:01, and my man was like, shh. So yeah, yeah, all that adds wear. Yeah, I hope she's good wherever she is. Maybe she just shapeshifted and now she's a Copic marker. Oh no, that's not a good look, Jeff. And I guess the best I can say is like I don't have COVID. Maybe that's the best I can say. But So anyway, so getting to the allergy part, and maybe JRD, who knows everything, can make sense of this. For the most part, I'm fine all day. Once the sun goes down, all of a sudden it's like I got a tickle, and then it's just kind of going from there. Johnny Fitz, what up, Johnny Fitz? Good to see you. Shogun says in the P and Dubs, we've got pretty good spring weather this week. Not this weekend though. Yeah, it like snowed in New England last weekend. It's crazy. But yeah, to what Bill was saying, I think that Friday I looked at my fat bit, and I think I walked 16,000 steps, something crazy like that. And it's crazy because I spent the most part of the day driving, and then the rest of that was just me. I couldn't find all the garages were full. I had to keep leaving the convention center to feed the meter outside. Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys. Um, oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. Bill says, "Have you done the scratch test?" Pause with the allergist. You know what? No, I remember when I was a kid, I got the allergy thing, and I was fine. And I feel like I started to develop pollen allergies as I've gotten older, because maybe the probably since I was in my late 40s, I started getting I started reacting in the spring, and I thought I was sick. Like maybe the first every five, no, like every spring for 5 years, I'm like, I gotta go to the doctor. I don't. And then it's like, oh shit, it's pollen. So if anybody has any really great advice on how to beat this thing, let me know. I heard Jared D was talking about Sudafed. I got Claritin. The Claritin, it does nothing. I got the Mucinex, that ain't doing nothing. I don't want to keep overloading myself with stuff, but I don't want to cough so hard I knock something out of place. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's that. So I wanted to maybe ask you guys. Oh, hold on, yo, Sam's Club Flonase. Oh, one of the neighbors was talking about neti pots. Like I gotta put the joint, I gotta put the joint up to my nose. Crystal, Chris Lopez, what up? Allergy shots. Jesus Christ, am I there now? Vitamin D and Zcam. Okay, JRD's on some Walter White shit. Fexofenadine is good. It is still one pill a day, but it takes a few days to build up. Is that over the counter? Bill says neti pots are the devil, but they work. So, all right, maybe we could talk about that. I wanted to ask you guys about how you deal with seasonal allergies, and also how do you guys deal with sussing out, uh, what do we say in the city? Gunshots or fireworks? Like, how do you know when you're sick, and you're not allergy sick? Oh wow, you going all in. The beekeeper, your aim soldier outfit. Fexo is generic Allegra. Huh. Yeah, that Claritin is not doing it, yo. So if Big Claritin's in the building, I'm letting you know. On my money back. E, what up? E says my allergies kicked in one day in math class, my 8th grade year. Airborne mold, mostly. Wow, that's all schools. Did float knees in the early years till it started giving me nosebleeds. Jesus, best thing I've ever used is Zyrtec D. All right, that's good to know. And it's funny how like everybody has said something different. Nope, nobody said the same thing yet. Chris says, I get the monthly. No, this is your allergy shot. My allergies were so bad that I couldn't open my eyes in the sunlight. Reminded me of that Simpsons episode where Homer's eyes started crusting over. It's so gross. I was a postman at the time and had to be outside. I popped Benadryl like they were Pez. Oh man, my condolences. That sounds horrible. Anybody else want to add to that? um, but yeah, I guess this is still me just coming to grips that I actually, like that night thing. And I was reading up on it. It's like, why do you feel like crap at night, but you're fine all day? Because you kind of trick yourself into thinking you're fine, but you're not fine. Because once the sun goes down, it's like Tales from the Dark Side. I'm like, yo, everything flips inverted. What's white is black. What's black is white. I can't breathe. I called. Shogun says, I don't get allergies too bad, so I just as a kid say raw. Sean Chai says, for me, it's about fatigue and mental fogginess. Oh, brain fog. I really had that when I had COVID, when I got COVID at San Diego Comic Con in 22. If I'm drowsy, my body is saying it needs rest. If I can't think, it's saying I need rest. Everything else I just work through. Yeah, some of the stuff you just gotta like power through it. He says, can't use Zyrtec D now because it can raise your blood pressure. See, that's another thing. You can't just be a Walgreens just a la carte in it. You gotta be careful. Um, Bill says SADS, seasonal affective disorder syndrome. Ugh, that's not good. Yeah, and I have to see my doctor anyway soon. So I'm going to just say, look, I think I gotta make some changes. You gotta give me something, doc. You gotta give me something for the pain. So and also when you're sick, everything else kind of shuts down. Like it makes me think of that, the when people are trying to be heroes when they're sick. Like, Michael Jordan scored 45 on the Rockets with the flu. Like, I would be mad if I was getting dunked on by coughing Michael Jordan, dripping all over you. Pause. So I guess maybe that'll be the next thing. For all of you guys, let's do a ones and twos. We haven't done a ones and two. I haven't been here in like two cycles, right? The first cycle I missed because I think I wasn't home. I was traveling, and then the second one was I was going to do it last week, and I didn't have the energy because I was in the middle of being sick. So I feel like I'm 2 weeks off. Ones and twos, you guys. For all of you soldiers in the chat who work sick, put a one in the chat. Work sick means like, yeah, I know, but you just gotta rally and go. Put on your boots and go to work. Put a one in the chat. For people who are like, no, I'm done. Put a two in the chat. And I guess number three can be anybody who has to be on their deathbed to take a break. And I think all three of those have their own issues. Jeff says one times one times one. JRD says body chemistry changes as we age, so you just have to experiment. I used to have bad reactions to a bunch of things, but now it's just pets, and Effexo does the trick. And is that a pill? Yeah, Ronaldo, thanks. Yeah, sorry about that. Because we just started my heel run, and that was a really great episode too. All right, a lot of ones. Everybody works sick. That says more about our society. Let's not get into that. But you just gotta like. So, also, are you making other people miserable with your one? Bill says one, and my boss tells me go home already. Yo, when's Madden coming out? When's Marvel? That's so funny. Yeah, it's nothing but ones. Matt says now that they know we can work just as well from home, there's no such thing as a sick. Oh my God, you're right. Oh, yeah, I might have to look into that. 6 months? Wait a minute. So, and I guess this is the next part about having allergies. Do you just take these things the whole season just to kind of prevent you going down the spiral, or do you only just take them when you're sick? Bill says, Matt, it's also the death of snow days. Work remotely as you fit. Oh, that was my favorite thing at work. Non essential personnel, please report to work. No, wait a minute. How, no, it was a reverse. It was non essential personnel don't have to come to work, but you do because you're essential. I don't want to come to work. Hmm. So, like, somebody has to, like, drag you, like, yo, will you please go to bed? Oh, I can do it. All right. I'm going to do another one of these because that's interesting. Sunshine says, most of my career I've not had sick leave, so I had no choice. But I get really angry at people who did have sick leave and came in and made me sick. See, that's the other part of number one I wanted to talk about. I'm going to be mad at you, Bill, if you come in and you cough up the cubicle. We're going to have words. So where's the line, right? But also, again, if you're like, oh, I have a tickle, I'm not coming in, and everybody's like, come on, you're killing me. I don't really think anybody's satisfied. JD says E's allergies are so bad she has to take Flexo daily year round. Wow. Situationally. You tell him. I don't feel essential. Ronaldo says nothing will let you know where you stand until they tell you you're nuts. Yo, real rap. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose. Sorry. Well, you guys think about how much I have not been sick. Ross says my boss constantly asks if I go to the doctor yet. Yeah, get out of here. Ronaldo says, I've taken 3 sick days in the last 7 years at work. But you don't get a sticker for that. Nobody has nobody, nobody celebrates you being a trooper. He says, depends on the sickness. Oh, wow. Are you down with the sickness? Like you said, sometimes it's hard for me to tell if I'm actually sick or if it's just my allergies. Lean more to these days, though. I like that, Bill. Oh, at least they flip those back at you. Um, and that's what I love about the old people hour, the Gen X hour, as we're talking. This is real stuff, right? We don't get snow days, right? Even as the adults in the room, when there's a snow day, that means I got to go out and shovel. The kids, I don't know what the kids are doing, but they're not helping. That's me. Snow day means I got work to do. Looking out the window like, ugh, got to gear up. I did have a neighbor a long time ago who was kind of a freak. Like, he kind of reminded me of Ned Flanders and kind of like activated. He came to life when we had the snow outside. And we lived in an apartment. You don't need like that. That's the super's job, right? That's the landlord's job to shovel. But living in the city, you kind of just gotta take care of your own stuff. And he would like bound out into the street like in a thin ass t-shirt, like and I'm like, bro, what's wrong with you? He was like, I love it. Makes me feel alive. I love it. Wait, I just saw something. That's not show business. That's my beard. I don't want to gross anybody out. He's like, "Hey, neighbor." Like he was like somebody cast a haste spell on him. He was like going triple fast. He came to life. Feel like I live for this, here for this. Not me. I'll do it, but um, there was a couple other things I wanted to talk about. So, um, and I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this because our world's so jacked up. But are you? I believe in as a human, as an American, you do what's best for you. Some people say some wild shit that I can't get behind. Pause. But you have your right to do whatever. Do you get flu shots? I don't. We're not talking about other shots. I'm not talking about ouchies and none of that shit. I'm just asking, do you get a flu shot? I have been one of those people who always feels like I get sick from the flu shot, and then my doctor's always like, "No, you don't get sick from the flu shot." But like, I feel like shit. I think I'm sick, and I I know if I have gotten a flu shot, I usually feel worse than if I didn't get a flu shot. JRD, you got a good point. Being diabetic, get all the shots. Shout out to diabetes. Mike, yes, every year. Do you double up? Are you getting shot on shot on shot? Racks on racks on racks? I I don't like dealing with that. I don't know. I always feel dicey if you're kind of like getting both your arms got band-aids on it. Chris has never let my body fight it. Shogun says I do flu shot. Ain't been the flu for years. Wow. Chris says my dad gets sick every time from the shot. Yeah. Bill says I do. It's also because the school has two medical schools with a teaching hospital. Oh, so you go get your flu shot and then you wander back into the hallway. Again, this isn't a judgment zone. I'm just asking. Um, I don't feel like I don't think I had the flu either. And one of those things was like on top of all this other stuff, my energy level's really high. Like I haven't had moments where I'm just like, ah, bro, I can't move. I feel like crap. So I know that's also a part of it. Yeah, word up. Jeff says I don't usually get a flu shot, but one of those boosters took me down for a day. Ugh. Mike says, as a nurse, we can easily spread it to children or elderly who have weaker immune systems. Yeah. Bill says, also the military cats get the flu shot, but it's the live virus and it's terrible. He says, I usually get the flu shot. Can't afford. Did I just read that? Got it back in January. All right. Sunshine says, sometimes I usually forget. I struggle just to remember to get to my quarterly doctor appointments. Don't have the capacity for extra a lot. Sometimes my doc remembers for me, though. What's interesting here is that, like, they're really like about that in the city. Like you go to the CVS or the Walgreens, and they're like, "Yo, we got some lady in a lab coat over there. I'll give you a flu shot right now." I'm like, I'm holding toilet paper. I'm about to check out. Go get your flu. Like I like that. They're trying to keep the community healthy. So I'm not against or for it. I'm just asking because I know, like, you're the one that feels like crap. So, but yeah, nobody should be dying. No, no, no dying. But you know what? We had a lot of people in the chat, and a lot of people left. I hope my coughing didn't scare anybody off. You get me as I am. So I hope I didn't offend. But we're still having a good time talking about grown up stuff. Um, and I also feel bad. I have buddies who have like extreme reactions to, maybe like cat dander or like ragweed or whatever, like that just kind of shuts them down. Um, Maybe the last thing I'll ask, does anybody have like any extreme thing, things like pickles? Um, I have one of my buddies when we had a cat was just like, I can't come over your house. Like, your house is clean. Like, I'm not living in squalor. There's not like, when you open the windows and all you see is floating cat hair, and he's just like, I can't, or I gotta pop a Zyrtec. Bill says, "Oh, something for the Gen X folks. Shingles. Get that shot. It hurts like napalm on your skin." I never had shingles, but I never had chicken pox. But I hear that's a biatch. Man, we are totally old, you guys. JRD says, "My GP's office is in the hospital, so they see everything. If he says I need a shot, I trust he's not just doing it for the kickback. He's doing it for big needle." Um, all right, let's do an ID. I haven't done one of those in the middle early lately. You're watching Coffee Break with Jay, Boy JN. Guys, I can't tell you how much you all mean to me. This is what, JRD, what is this? How many years of Coffee Break? Is this 6 years? Something like that? That's crazy. For you guys to humor me, sometimes I cringe when people go, "Oh, you're very entertaining." I kind of don't like that. Like, I feel like we're just talking, but those some of those things kind of trigger me, almost like I bristle against feeling like I'm performing because I'm not performing. I'm just being myself, and I don't ever want to be like a party clown or something like that. And I think people mean well when they're like, "Oh man, you make me laugh. You're so I don't know. There's something about that bothers me, but I like that we can come together, boss, and chop it up." Especially for you guys that have been around for a super long time. So thank you so much. Coffee break with Jay and isn't the first time I've done stuff like this. If you know me IRL in real life, in the before times, I might come through, fold my leg, and have a coffee, and we could talk about anything for a long time. Hey, let's get a coffee. Let's meet up. Hey, what's going on? Oh man, blah blah blah. Tell me about this thing. It's coffee break with Jay, and it's the same thing. But now we've got the video scope, kind of making it official. So thank you very much. Guys, I have many names. Some of them may be in the chat right now. Uh, Coffee break with Jay and shunning decaf since 2019. Um, oh, hold on, I'm falling off. Hold on a second. Um, Guys will go by many names. Oh, thank you. Group is highly needed. See, that's what I'm talking about. If everybody was like, "Oh, Jamar, I can't wait for next Thursday. Would you paint your face and do a little dance?" I wouldn't do these anymore because that's not how I move. You know what I'm saying? That's totally not how I move. And any of you guys who again know me in real life, I'm pretty straightforward. I'm a kind of you see what you get what you get. You don't get upset. But I'm not a performer. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I got to do it. And that's what I was saying earlier, Shogun. It's like I felt fine until the sun went down. Now I sound like garbage. Wow, that's crazy. All right, some names that I go by: Philly Seymour Hoffman, Philly Donahue, the captain of the ship, Jean Luc Picard. There are four Johns. John Cena. And what happens here with my caffeine? So, you get to watch me drink a cup of coffee and run my mouth, and when I'm out of coffee, you know what goes there. So, a couple of shout outs. Shout outs to Trey reappearing in the timeline. We're very excited that Trey's been coming back. Yes, the administrator, make me laugh. The administrator of the facility. Trey came back to to the timeline. Really great to see him. Um, JRD just got some love. Bill O'Donnell said, "Sippa, yo, Sippa to JRD for keeping track of the timeline. He is the holder of the scrolls. So let's give a Sippa to number one JRD. Guys, raise your mugs. It's very important. I can't keep track of that stuff, and JRD somehow is keeping a spreadsheet. I don't know what he's doing, but thank you for that. Yes, the sacred timeline. You see where the Infinity Stones go like this, and then they break off in a couple places. Like when Biff gets the almanac. That's a big one. I think that's where we are right now. And again, I'm not trying to gross anybody else, gross anybody out with my coughing. JRD is the TVA of the JNN. You hold them scrolls, hold them gently. You don't want to. Don't do a stranglehold on your scrolls. I was going to talk about something else. Oh, thank you, Chris Lopez. Did anyone see the Breakfast Club reunion? I saw a picture, and they have like, well, one of the pictures, I guess, like the '80s picture. It's I'll just make it up. So it's kind of like Charlie Sheen, right? Wait, which Sheen is it? Oh, Emilio. It's Emilio. Emilio Estevez, Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, Ali Sheedy, Judd Nelson. Did I miss anybody? There's five of them, right? And then in the new picture, they're in front of the same lockers, but they put them in different places. It's messing me up. Oh, there's a panel. Is John Hughes still alive? John Hughes died though, didn't he? Yeah, I think talking about John Hughes movies is like the spine of all of the coffee break stuff. Is that I know it's all very kind of like cringy, as the kids say now. But it was kind of pushing the envelope. And like I think in your head you want to think that all those guys got along enough to get through this project. But all those guys have still been around. Like you see them in real life. I think probably the person you didn't see the most is maybe Ali Sheedy, and Molly Ringwald was kind of off out of the limelight for a while until she came back. Wasn't she on Riverdale? I think she's like Archie's mom or something in Riverdale. Molly was a whole moment in the '80s. Em- Embrace the cringe. Um, yeah, Judd Nelson. Well, when he walked off the football field, what happened to him? Um, but I guess maybe the one who kind of looked different was Anthony Michael Hall, because you remember he was like the dweeb in a lot of those John Hughes movies. Shout out to Weird Science, one of my favorite John Hughes movies. I was just talking about Kelly LeBrock. I think that we talk about that on It Ain't Hard to Tell. And when Anthony Michael Hall reappeared, and he was in Edward Scissorhands, he was all swole, right? He was the jock, and people were like, that's Anthony Michael Hall. But I guess if you grow up being like the dweeb, like you change yourself, right? But yeah, somebody tell me if that's worth watching, or is that just? I mean, who's this for, really? And there's also a list of like the maybe the safest John Hughes movies. Gary, you said you were combing your hair. I was, ma. Hey, I love Weird Science. Shout out to Bill Paxton. Rest in peace. How about a nice greasy pork sandwich served on a dirty ashtray? Oh man. Uh, so all right, we'll do this real quick, and then I'll start wrapping this up. Dude, this might be the first time I don't finish my coffee. No, I can't. I can't break the code. I gotta finish this, or I can't end the video. The booze hounds return. Chat. What is your favorite? Okay, top three John Hughes movies. We're not going to do all of them, so you got to pick in no particular order. Put them in the chat. We'll discuss. So for some of you guys who are like, wait, what? Because we're getting old, y'all. Some of the jewels of the John Hughes movies, and it's not Home Alone. That's Chris Columbus. Your top three. What? Your top three. What? Your top three John Hughes movies. I'll give you some. Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club. Um, she's having a baby. That's one that's kind of lost to the times. Weird Science, Uncle Buck. I forgot about Uncle Buck, Mike. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yeah, they don't have to be part of the Shermer, Illinois multiverse. Maybe next time we'll have to do the Paul Verhoeven movie. So wait, you guys are just saying planes, trains, and automobiles. So that's one movie. You could pick three. Wait, did he do Flubber? Really? No, Home Alone wasn't. That wasn't John Hughes. That was Christopher Columbus, right? Isn't that not the Explorer? I'm pretty sure that wasn't John Hughes, but it was in Chicago. Oh, nice. Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Ferris. Ferris. That's a hard one to dethrone. I see Ferris. Oh, Chris is going one at a time. Ferris, Breakfast Club, and Planes, Trains. Got you. Uh, Michael says Uncle Buck, Weird Science, Ferris Bueller. I call is he's trying to cover the spread with Uncle Buck. Shout out to John Candy. Baby's Day Out #2. Wow, that's a deep dive. Wow, man. We should make the new AV club. We'll have to screen some of these. So some of these I don't have an answer to. So Jared D says Hughes films did not age well, so I've watched them in over 2 decades. But Planes, Trains, Breakfast Club, and did he do some kind of Wonderful and Only the Lonely? Wait, Hughes wrote Home Alone. He didn't direct it. Okay, good job. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer. That's crazy, you guys. Yeah, John Candy is underrated. One of my favorite John Candy movies was Stripes. I love Stripes. It's one of my favorite Ivan Reitman movies. Those guys were young. Anything else from you guys? Wait, did Hughes write all of the Home Alones or just the first one? Because he wasn't a big sequel guy, right? So, what? I was thinking about Reitman movies and Harold Ramis, all those National Lampoon guys. Oh, JRD doesn't like Bill Murray. I could see that. I could see Bill Murray being just like the dude that gets away with shit that would drive you up the wall. So yes, he wrote all of them. There was only were there 3? How many Home Alones? Sean Chice says, "Oh, you talking directing? Yeah, Flubber and Baby Stay Out were written by him. No love for She's Having a Baby. But yeah, that definitely was our thing. And I think we had talked about uh, being young and taken to movies by your folks for stuff that was way above your pay grade. I saw this little clip from like the late '70s or whenever Alien came out. Was it '80? There's 5 Home Alones, and these people are like bringing their tiny little kids out of Alien, and the kids are just like, and the reporter's like, "Do you think it was wise to bring your child to Alien?" And like, it sounded like, I mean, what? It's aliens, right? Aliens are cute, and the kid's like frying his eyes out. Wow, yeah, I didn't know he did all that. Chris Lopez says, "I heard Bill Murray described as being Bugs Bunny. I think that's spot on. Huh. 6 Home Alones. I think you get it at this point. That's crazy. Also, just here's a hot take. Goonies isn't as good as you remember. I'll just leave you with that. It's in my head canon. I'm just like, Goonies is dope. And yes, Goonies was dope. But you watch it again, it's just like, it's over. Like I swear there was like more to more. Did they edit it or something? Like this seems like there's 40 minutes of dungeon missing from Home Alone. That's right. Somebody needs to call Child Protective Services. um, that's great. um, yeah. So here's another bugaboo of mine. I don't know how we got here, and we're gonna wrap up soon. I'm almost out of coffee. Um, was there anybody here that liked the Tomb Raider movies? I know, like maybe you're an Angela Jolie fan, and I'm a gamer guy, and Lara Croft, who Lara Tomb Raider needs more flowers because that was such a giant thing in the late '90s. Like Tomb Raider was huge. Shout out to Goonies 2. I finished that. It's funny because there's no Goonies 2 movie, but there was a Goonies game that came out in Japan, and Goonies 2 was in America. I beat Goonies 2. You got rescued a mermaid, mermaid. Here's my issue with the Tomb Raider movie, which doesn't even get like the Indiana Jones like spelunking thing right. Is that they kind of got the whole point missed, where you know Angelina Jolie is like walking up the side of some mountainous mountain with some Sherpas behind her, and she's got on her like shorty shorts and a Han Solo coat. She gets to a door and like cranks a thing open, and then the next scene is like this giant puzzle with some cobwebs over there. I was like, no, you gotta go explore, man. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Like they walk like in the. You guys remember the first Dungeons and Dragons movie with Jeremy Irons and us D&D nerds? Yo, shout out to D&D. Hated that movie just because it got so many things wrong. Like Marlon Wayans and that other guy walk around a corner. There's the dragon. Like, come come on, you're killing me. Yeah, I think that was before all that. JRD says they were enjoyable, not a gamer, so I didn't have that baggage. Haven't seen the new person. Yeah. Shout out to John Voight, another one of my nicknames. So yeah, those kind of things bug me when you have this world famous explorer and they don't give you the exploration part. They just kind of like just happen to have the crystal or whatever, and they put it in the perfectly uncovered hole in the wall, and then they open the thing, and then there's a trap to unstick, and then the thing comes out. That's a whole other show. Mr. and Mrs. Smith is really good. Did anybody watch the Donald Glover thing? I don't have the patience. All right, maybe we'll keep that one off the roster. Um, Bra says they made another Tomb Raider movie in 2018 with a reboot of the game franchise. The new game, well, that's old now. Like that reboot was really good to look at, and I played it, and I was getting into it, and then I just kind of stopped. Bill says, thoughts on Honor Among Thieves? They're not going to make a sequel, are they? Because I thought that the movie didn't do well enough, and they were going to kind of stop it. I did hear some movement on a D&D TV series, so I don't know. Maybe it kind of caught on in streaming. I thought it was okay. I right. That's what I want to see in a Indiana Jones movie. Months go by where they're just going like this. um, I like the idea, and this is my headcanon. I don't know if anybody. What a bad name that they were trying to. I feel like all the things happening in the Honor Among Thieves movie were kind of the actions of people sitting at a table playing a game of D&D. That's how I registered it. So like when not Chris Pratt, Chris Pine, like screwed something up, and it's kind of funny. Like yeah, I could see that happening at the table. Like when they're in the cemetery and he screws up to converse with dead spell, and it's like, so I can ask you anything? Yes. And then he like falls back. Like, no, you wasted the spell, you idiot. I thought that was funny. Are they doing a sequel? Wow. I don't love the energy of those characters. Um, I think Chris Pine and what's her face. I don't know. Maybe they'll have them new characters. I feel like that was strong enough. I did like the throwback to the cartoon kids though. Oh, I like the idea of the sequel being the exact same cast as all different characters and classes with a new kid. Oh, I like that. Is that on the table? See, I'm into that. Kind of like Tezuka's star system, if you know anything about Osamu Tezuka. You like anime? I invented it. Who created Astro Boy and all that? Well, if you ever read his manga, a lot of the characters would repeat themselves, but he almost looked at a lot of the characters like the guy with the big nose as actors in his stories, and they could play different roles. So he called it his star system. I feel like D&D would work as well as an anthology style show. Yeah, did you see the Amazon Prime those little vignettes? That was cool. Oh, Shogun, what makes sense? I've been talking all over the place. Hawk the Slayer, nice. All right, guys, I'm gonna start wrapping this up because I gotta go to bed. Thank you so much. We got a couple of seconds left. I want to give. I'm not gonna do my whole like Shogun spiel. Oh yeah, the story. Yeah, it's really interesting. And if you don't have much history with Tezuka, read Astro Boy. Probably the easiest way. Dark Horse made little paperbacks, like volumes, a long time ago. Um, oh, Ted Lasso's great. um, Blackjack is great. Um, I guess Pluto, that thing that's on that anime that's on Netflix, is a remake of one of the Astro Boy stories. Um, and Astro Boy is pure joy. Don't like the anime. That's cool. You got to read the story. You got to read the comics. Oh yeah, I don't have my thing, but I'm going to be free comic book day. I'll talk about that next. We got time. Oh wait, shit. Maybe we don't. When's free comic book day? Is that like next week? It's a couple weeks, right? Huh. Yeah, it's two. Yeah, so yeah, I'll have another coffee break right before free comic book day, but I'll talk about it then. But I do have an appearance, you guys. Even with all my allergies, I'm going to make it work. I will be at. I'll be at the Borgata Hotel and Spa. I will be a guest of honor at the Rise Resilience and Self Expression Festival in Northampton, Massachusetts, home of the Turtles, with these superstars of Kidlit, Brian Selznick, Raoul the Third, and more. My good buddy, JJK, Jared Krasoska, author of Hey Kiddo, creator of Lunch Lady, and so many other wonderful works. Is him and his family are putting on a play, and he requested my presence. So I was like, if JJK says you gotta come through, I gotta come through. So if you're in New England on Saturday, come through. They have more stuff on Friday, but I'm not involved in that. I'm very excited, and hopefully I'll have some Claritin with me. Yeah, I will talk about that. But just as a heads up, I will be at Captain Blue Hen Comics in lovely Newark, Delaware. Go Blue Hens for free comic book day. I haven't been. Well, that's not true. I did pre comic book day last year with John Gallagher, like the week before free comic book day. But I haven't been at a free comic book day in a while. If you missed our pencil to pencil with Joe Murray from Comics Pro and Captain Blue Hen, go back and watch that. Thank you, Sean Chai. It was really sweet. I appreciate you. I hope I feel better by then too. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. We went over a little bit. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Group is needed. Group is special. And also, because Suze is not here, there will be no Suze post tonight. Other ways you can support me, join my Patreon, you guys. Come on. A rich vein of content is there, along with the world famous It Ain't Hard to Tell with Bodega Voltron, JN and Mike Hawthorne, comic book superstar. So, yeah, go check that out. Oh my God, that sounds horrible. It's hot and sour soup. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys, let's go home. Say goodnight, John Boy. Let's do it. You've been watching Coffee Break with JN with the boy JN. I hung out with my caffeines. Hold on a second. Yeah, John Jensen Drags. Just Suze is missed. Um, Good night, John Boy. You got to hang out with my caffeines. You know who you are, caffeines. Friends and regulars, not decaf coffee with JN. And we chopped it up, even with my seasonal allergies, even with the Mucinex dude squatting in my chest. Pause. He's got to get up out of here. Rent is due, brother. You got to go. Um, and again, thank you for all your love and support. Um, I have many names. Captain Scholastic, I appreciate that. Oh, shout out to my homegirl Raina Telgemeier and Scott McLeod, who are wrapping up their uh, book tour for the new Scholastic book Cartoonist Club that Raina and Scott co-created. I'm very excited. I heard it's already on like the bestsellers things. They've been holding it down for Scholastic. What a world, you guys! I'm very excited for them. And a rising tide lifts all sails, or whatever that is. I'm so happy for them. Man, I'm happy for Kazoo. I'm happy for Dave Pilkey. I'm happy for all of those cats because we all shine brighter when this stuff does well. Um, yeah, so keep that energy up for Leon. I hope you have Leon Worst Friends Forever. I hope you bought it and given it to some shorties that you know. Working on the next one will be out next year, and you'll hear more about it then. So, so yeah, thank you. What happened here tonight? You watched me cough and drink coffee, and now that I'm out of coffee, where's Hicks? We're doing so well. Good night, you guys.